number 11 Oklahoma beating number 4 Alabama once again for the second year in a row. Oklahoma takes down Alabama, this time by a 23-21 final score. Let's go over the highest graded player, starting off with the Oklahoma Sooners. Highest graded player, safety Reggie Powers III, 80.8 grade. Linebacker Kip Lewis, 78.7. Cornerback Eli Bowen, 75. Dominic Williams, the defensive tackle, 71.6. Taylor Wine, the edge rusher, 69.7. And John Mateer with a 64.8 grade in the win. Let's go over to Alabama with their highest grade players in the loss. Cornerback Red Morgan, 80.8. Tight end Josh Cuevas, 72.2. Offensive guard Cam Dewberry, 71.1. Jan Zapier, the edge rusher, 70.4. Daniel Hill, the running back, 69.3. And Ty Simpson with a 66.1 grade in the loss. Dalton, what told the story of this game?
To me, on the there's a couple stories on the Alabama offensive side, because that's basically where this entire game was played, right? But I think it was about Brent Venables testing Ty Simpson, as he does to so many first-year starting quarterbacks. How about a 62.5% blitz rate on Ty Simpson? An outstanding game plan from Venables. Blitzes, simulated pressures, rotating coverages, forcing Simpson into mistakes, knowing where he would go with his hot reads. I think Brent Venables just once again came away victorious against a young quarterback. All 4 sacks for Oklahoma came when they were blitzing. Both Ty Simpson turnovers came when they were blitzing, plus another one that was called back due to a penalty in the secondary. I just thought when you look at this game and you look at what Ty Simpson had to deal with, especially with Alabama being as inconsistent running the football as they are, he sped up Simpson. When he was not blitzed, he had a time to throw over 3 seconds. When he was, time to throw 2.48 seconds. Now, you say, okay, Simpson was getting rid of the ball. He was beating it. Well, it also got more conservative. His average depth of target was 1.5 yards lower when he was blitzed. They were forcing him to get rid of the football. And when you look at how Simpson has played lately, that has been a problem. LSU blitzed him 43% of the time. When they did, he wasn't great. Over his last 5 games against the blitz, a 55.7 passing grade. This seems to be now a formula against Simpson that if you blitz him, yes, he's going to get rid of the football, but you can force him into mistakes if he's not perfect. And especially with Alabama's occasional inability to run the football and take the heat off of their quarterback, they're asking Simpson to do way too much. And I think Brent Venables was relying on that, was sending, again, over a 60% blitz rate.
Yeah, it's kind of like last year in a different way, though, with Jalen Moreau. Last year, Jalen Moreau struggled with blitzes, but he held onto the football for too long. Ty Simpson gets rid of that football, but also makes mistakes with the football, too. So Alabama quarterbacks over the last few years, honestly, have both struggled with the blitzes in Jalen Moreau and Ty Simpson, just kind of in different ways, too. The story of this game for me was turnovers, honestly. Alabama held the football for over 34 minutes in this game, had almost 200 more yards than Oklahoma in this game. But the reason why Alabama lost this game is because they turned the ball over 3 times, while Oklahoma had 0 turnovers in this one. Alabama drove down to the 23-yard line in the first quarter, but Ty Simpson threw a interception to Eli Bowen, who returned it for a touchdown, 87-yard touchdown, pick 6 for Eli Bowen. Later on in the game, Ryan Williams fumbled on a punt return, which gave the Sooners the ball on the 31-yard line, and Oklahoma scored a touchdown 2 plays after recovering that fumble. And then later on in the third quarter, Ty Simpson fumbled the ball once again, gave Oklahoma the ball on the 31-yard line, and Oklahoma got a field goal off of that too. So the turnovers plus Alabama's missed field goal in this game, that, to me, is why the Crimson Tide ultimately lost this game.
No, agreed. I think Oklahoma played, it reminds me a bit of on Sundays when I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's, hey, when they get turnovers and they can rush the passer, they can win. Their defense can dominate enough to win these ball games. Their offense did enough, took advantage of the opportunities that they were given, didn't have to do a whole lot. What was it, only 217 total yards they won this game with, which you don't see very often, obviously. But look, a huge win for Oklahoma, and at this point, we have to sit here and ponder, are they going to be either the highest graded 2-loss team or the highest ranked 2-loss team coming out of these playoffs or this playoff ranking, or could they even move ahead of a 1-loss team like in Oregon or even an Ole Miss with the way they struggled with Florida?
I don't think so.
Probably top out there at number 9 then?
I would say I would definitely over Notre Dame. I don't think they should be over. I don't think they will be over Notre Dame, but they should be over Notre Dame. But I don't think they'll be ahead in the one-loss teams.
Either way, now at this point, it feels like with them already at number 11 coming into the game, and with this win at Alabama, a huge win, obviously. And here's a real question: do they end up ahead of Alabama in the rankings?
They should.
That's the part there.
I don't think there's even a question.
Head to head now is Alabama more on the bubble than Oklahoma is at this point with the head to head and the way things are. So Oklahoma, look. Home games against Missouri and LSU, probably going to be favored in both, although watch out for Missouri. He just had a Mott Hardy run for 300 yards yesterday. You always got to stop that guy. But Oklahoma now just put themselves on the inside track to the playoff.
I think it would be wild of the committee to rank Alabama ahead of Oklahoma after this past week.
So you're probably insane. You could be looking then at Notre Dame 8, Oklahoma 9, Alabama 10?
Probably.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah, we'll get to my top 25 later on in the show, my playoff rankings, I should say, later on in the show too, but I think it would be crazy. I think head-to-head has to matter, and obviously Oklahoma just beat Alabama, so I think they will be above Alabama. Who impressed you the most, Dalton, though, from this game?
Look, you look at the linebacker, Kip Lewis. He was all over the place in this game. 6 total stops, 4 pressures, including one that forced Simpson into the pick 6 from Eli Bowen early in the game. 2 sacks, only 1 catch allowed in coverage for 3 yards. He was just flying all over the place. Over his past 2 games, too, he's really gotten it done as a blitzer. 7 pressures and 4 sacks against Tennessee and against Alabama. Oklahoma just has more and more guys that step up every week in this defense. This week, once again, it was Kip Lewis at linebacker.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Eli Bowen. Made the biggest play of the game with that 87-yard pick 6, a 75 PFF grade in this one. Only 3 catches allowed on 7 targets as well. A 10.7 passer rating allowed by Eli Bowen. A perfect passer rating is a 158.3. Passer rating, spiking the ball every play is around a 40. He allowed basically an 11 passer rating when targeted in this game. He makes massive, massive plays for Oklahoma's defense when they need them the most. He's been a great player for Oklahoma's defense this year, over an 81 PFF grade now on the season. Eli Bowen is a star in the secondary for Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you just look at this Oklahoma defense. It's one of the best in the country because they have playmakers like Bowen, like Peyton Bowen at safety, like Lewis, like all the defensive linemen they have, and they didn't even have our Mason Thomas in this game, and they still found a way to get enough pressure on Simpson to force him into mistakes. So, Brent Venables, this was a masterclass on defense once again. Just outstanding stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Oklahoma getting a massive, massive win over Alabama, keeping their college football playoff hopes alive. And now all they got to do is win out the rest of the way and probably make the playoff. And Alabama, what they got to do now is beat Auburn, the last game of the year, in order to make the playoff too. So it's going to be that Iron Bowl. All of a sudden has a lot more stakes on it than we thought it would going into it.
Doesn't it always?
It always does.
It's just the way the story always has to be written. And you know what? You think they're glad maybe they're not going to be facing Jackson Arnold? Wouldn't that be? I mean, it seems like Ashton Daniels has the rhythm right now. But, man, oh, man, could you imagine if there was some way that Arnold had to get on the field and they had to beat him?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That would be wild. Alabama still got Eastern Illinois next week and then Auburn the week after at Auburn, too. So it'll be interesting in Jordan-Hare Stadium. But Oklahoma still has Missouri and LSU. But the way they're looking right now, Oklahoma should be favored in both those games. We might see the Oklahoma Sooners in a college football playoff after this massive win over Alabama. All right.